Hey, what's up YouTube? So today we're going to be talking about the 86 LX Mustang. If this car looks familiar, it's because it used to be campaigned by Randy Haywood. Now this car sat in his yard. I first met Randy, a long time ago, back in the 90s. And at the time he was running a shop out of his house called Randy Haywood Racing until he ended up going and starting True Blue Performance. So this car actually sat out at his house for years before he ever touched it. And it was an 86 that had been updated with the newer 87 and 93 front end on it. And he ended up putting a motor in it. I'm pretty sure it was a 351 stroker motor at nitrous and a power glide. And he actually got the car to go 560s. And the car worked good. It was real loose suspension. You can see it. It'd throw the front end up and ride the wheelie bars, and it ran really well. He ended up going like an 899 and a quarter on the car down at Rockingham.
That's Randy Brown, left lane out of Hillsborough, and Stefan Dunham in the right lane out of Norfolk, Virginia. Stefan in the 98 Firebird, Randy in the 94. 1258 for Randy out of Hillsborough, 1361 Stefan. Michael Huff, left lane out of Durham in the 98 Camaro, V6. Right lane is Bob Dalton out of Fayetteville, 93 Camaro. Camaro, Mike St. Clair from Apex in the right lane. Holcomb Mustangs, you'll be next. Holcomb Mustang.
Over time, I guess, with starting his business, he sold the car to Holcomb Motorsports. They ended up, they got it as a roller. They painted the car solid white, which was kind of cool. Still had the red interior, but they never got it running, put a motor in it. And then right after the yellow car got wrecked, Russ reached out to him and found out they weren't using the car, so he actually bought the car from them, brought it home. I ended up putting the car together for him. He was actually diagnosed with what they call Guillain-Barré disease, and he was like paralyzed. Like, I didn't know if this guy was gonna live or not. He was in the hospital for weeks and weeks. So while he was gone, I ended up getting an engine for it. We had got one, I think, from Randy, and it was like a 390 something cubic inch Windsor stroker. And I put the motor in the car with his power glide, and got everything set up and running. And you'll see it in the video, me actually working on it at his house. The wrecked car, the yellow car's still out front, tore all to pieces. but we put a lot of good parts on the white car, just like we had on the yellow car. I got up and running for him. He did a full recovery at the hospital. When he came home, we took him out to get some seat time in the car. The car ended up working really well right out of the box. We didn't do much of the suspension. I made a few anti-roll bar changes on it once we got it dialed in, and it ran great, 28 by 10.5 slicks. And we were hitting it with nitrous, and at first we were running like 580s to 60s, just getting the car sorted, getting Russ comfortable in a different car. And then at the end of it, the car ended up going like a 545 or 542, it's in the video. And it was surprising. We were down at Fayetteville, and we just kept tweaking on it and leaning on it harder, how we were launching it. And the car ended up going 540s. So it was a very fast car.
You video?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love these headers. Love these headers. I spent big money on this carburetor. We're gonna use this carburetor.
Is it a demon?
It's a demon. You see the ball?
Mm.
Demon.
Mm.
Demon. That Holly needs to be retired.
Never seen somebody so excited about a carburetor before.
Damn right. It's the demon. Unleash the demon. I should have this thing running by probably tomorrow night. Maybe tonight, I don't know. Well, we ain't checking in a couple days. Today I come out, mount the alternator, get everything hooked up, try to spin the motor over, and I'm fighting for an hour with this stupid battery. That's the one I took out. I even put it on 250 amp cranking, and it would not spin the motor over. It was clicking. So damn dead. So now I put this one in, die hard, and it looked pretty good. I put a charger up for a little while. I spun the motor over, but the starter doesn't sound right. So we'll take a look at everything real quick. Shit out the way. You can see I got the belts hooked up. That nice little spark plug wire job I put on them. Plugs in it. Primed it with fuel. I didn't have any fuel leaks. Everything looked good. But again, I think the starter with that new flywheel, I think we're gonna have a problem. So I told you I got that little spacer plate in there like it would be from the factory. And I think it's just not deep enough. But I'll let you hear what I'm talking about. Just to let you know, I do it right. You can count on it.
good one, right? Number one, number two, I don't see them run down left lane. There goes 578, 578, and that was one super duper Cooper round. You run pressure one left lane going up against that wheel standing.
About that time, he ended up getting interest in it to sell it. So he actually sold the car to a guy across the country, I think in Arizona or something. And that's when you'll see we end up picking up the Keith Szabo original Mustang that Keith and his dad campaigned Roger. It was a 1982 Mustang that had been updated to like 1985, 86 looking components and stuff on it. But anyway, that'll be in the next video. Now we're talking about the white car. If it looked familiar, you saw it with the yellow car in a couple of videos when it was still burgundy red from Randy. But the car was really fast. Randy did really well with it. And then when we got it, we ended up, pretty much going out, winning races with the car, and ended up going the best of in the 540s. So it's a pretty cool story on this car. Again, anybody that's been around Randy or Russ or myself over the years have probably heard about the car, seen the car. We used to go campaign it at the Coastal Carolina Racing Association, it used to be called CCRA. Some of the footage you saw in my blue car video and yellow car video, but that was a local series we ran. The rules basically were whatever kind of motor power adder you wanted, and a 28 10.5 tire, and then we had a weight they had to make, and I think it was like 3,200 pounds or something like that. But yeah, we're running really well. So I hope you're enjoying these video series. I'll try to throw in a little pepper, this audio in between some of the footage, just so you have an idea of the timeline. But yeah, it worked out really well. We ran that car for about a year and ended up doing really well with it, getting it to go really fast. And it was one, it just liked to wheelie. If you try to tighten down too tight, it would kind of kick the tires. But if you let it wheelie and ride out, that car worked really well. It was a 120, 60-foot car, pretty much everywhere we went with it. So let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you soon.